have ever opened a can of soda, something like that, and you hear that noise, that's essentially what it is. It's just gas exchange. So nothing bad actually happens.
Actually, lots of really great things happen that we can go into as well.
Right.
So go right ahead.
Right.
Let's talk about.
And you asked, what is an adjustment? Now, to me, that is actually one of the hardest questions for me to answer, to actually describe what an adjustment is. So before we describe what an adjustment is, we should probably describe what we're looking for and what we're adjusting.
Right, the fundamental principles of chiropractic.
So okay, Dr. Sarah, so I'll answer what is an adjustment after you answer what are we adjusting and what are we looking for.
Okay, so the two main principles of chiropractic are what we went over, which is that the master system of the body is the nervous system, that which controls you, that which tells all of your cells what to do. The second part of that is that your body heals itself. If you're breathing, you can heal. When there's interference to that process from the spine, chiropractors call that a subluxation. And a subluxation occurs, it's a vertebral subluxation complex. Essentially what happens is your body becomes overloaded with physical, chemical, emotional stressors, and we all have them. It's simply life.
Absolutely.
And so our bodies are designed to adapt to those stressors. However, oftentimes they cannot. And one of the things that happens is that we develop subluxations. Subluxations, very bottom line, are when the spine moves out of alignment. It cannot move back into alignment on its own, and it creates irritation to the nervous system, not only right at the area where the subluxation occurs and all the nerves that are coming out from between the bones of the spine, but it also causes irritation to the brain. It goes up to the brain, the stress and irritation bobbles around in the brain, and then what the brain does in response is increases the stress response throughout the entirety of the nervous system. And so the entire body gets more stressed from having a subluxation. So our job as chiropractors is to detect and then correct subluxation. We don't necessarily treat headaches, although many people come in with those and they're subluxated. We don't treat low back pain, but although many people come in with low back pain and they are often subluxated. Going back to what we talked about, narrow scope versus wellness chiropractors, a narrow scope doctor may look at a person who comes in and says, "Hey doc, I have low back pain," and simply and only look at the low back instead of looking at the entirety of the nervous system and where the stress might be, because it's all connected, folks. It's not that your neck can't somehow impact the function of your mid and your lower back. There's no way that the body can disconnect these two things. It's not mechanistic. Your body and the way it works is that everything is connected. One area affects the other. So our jobs in the detection and correction of the subluxation then is to use our hands. Chiropractic means to be done with the hands, or work to be done with the hands. We use our hands to find the subluxation in a connection with our nervous system testing, and then we provide the adjustment to the subluxation. So why don't you go through and talk about that? Like I said, that is the hardest thing for me to describe. Not really sure why. The best way that I have found to describe that is a force applied to the spine in a specific direction as to correct the subluxation. And it's really hard to envision that. There are many different ways to adjust the spine. Some of the ways that we adjust the spine in our office is using our hands, because like you were saying, chiropractic is with the hands. There are little instruments, and we have specialized tables in our office that we use to help with the adjustment. Now, what I can say about the adjustments is typically they don't hurt, because we get that question a lot, right? Oh, is it going to hurt for me to be adjusted? Now, the time that it might is if you're in pain already, then really it's kind of difficult to get around that. But typically an adjustment is not a painful procedure. I got adjusted today and it was pretty comfortable.
And a lot of people laugh during their adjustments, as I know we both have been known to do.
Oh, yes,
so
yes.
it's not something that's a painful procedure. If someone's in pain and inflamed, it's hard to get past that. So yes, it may hurt in those instances, but typically it doesn't.
Well, one of the things that I think we can probably, in order to describe what an adjustment is like, it's depending upon, some people feel things and they learn it better. Some people see things and they learn it better. Mm-hmm. One of the things that we can, with our words, describe an adjustment is like is that the goal of an adjustment is that knowing that a subluxation is causing more stress to the nervous system, the goal of the adjustment is to reduce the subluxation and thereby reduce the nervous system stress as well. And so people will often come in after, one adjustment sometimes, and their symptoms may have completely abated. Sometimes it can take 6 months for that to occur. Mm-hmm. But over that period of time, some just nervous system stress things that people report to us is that they're breathing better, that they're sleeping better,
have more energy.
They have more energy.
Think clearer. That we've gotten all of those.
Their libidos are better. These are or their bowel movements or things that these are all evidence when you're having these conditions. Any of these things, mm-hmm. It doesn't mean you need Prozac to get your energy level up. It doesn't mean you need the purple pill in order to get yourself to start pooping again. It doesn't mean you need, name it. There's something for everything. You don't need, the PMD pill for all of those things. What you need to do is decrease the stress on your nervous system. Chiropractic is one of the things that, and the most important thing I think as far as, reducing subluxations. But also, as wellness chiropractors, we are really committed, and part of the educational process that we do is the eat well, move well, think well.
Absolutely. And that is actually one of the things about our offices that we go the extra step, the extra mile is it's not just about chiropractic. And I don't want to say that, well, that's the most important thing, but things that happen outside of our office, like the eating, moving, and thinking well, that's important as well. If someone were to come into our office and they get their regular chiropractic adjustments, but they go home and every meal is from McDonald's, sit on the couch every single day, work their 8-hour job and then come home and sit and hate life. Well, that's really not going to make you healthy and serve you well.
And they're going to have to get adjusted every day just to keep themselves at some sort of status quo.
So that's going to add more nervous system stress if you don't help support what's happening in your chiropractic care. So the eat well, move well, and think well, it's really important to focus on other things as well. So we have ongoing wellness seminars in our office to guide people and give them more information and help them go in the right direction.
Absolutely.
Glad you mentioned that.
Yep. So our Eat Well, Move Well, Think Well series is something that we've actually built into our chiropractic wellness plans as something that's included. And so we just had our Eat Well presentation in November. Our next one is Move Well, which is December 9th. And then Think Well is January 13th, I think.
That sounds about right.
Okay, that's a lot of thinking. But the importance of that is that we're using cutting-edge research in nutrition, cutting-edge research in how to exercise and not overwhelming the system. Because interestingly enough, it's not that everybody has to go out and exercise for 2 hours. You go to the gym and exercise for 2 hours and then shower. And I can understand why most folks think they don't have time to exercise.
It would be very off-putting to think that's what you had to do.
Yeah, and that's a big misconception. And then also, steps that you can in the Think Well presentation, steps that you can take to start changing any negative self-talk that you might have. So those are huge portions of healthcare in general. And again, if those three aspects are not touched upon and not being worked on, there is no drug or surgery that can actually heal those things. We can essentially, have a procedure or take a drug